All right, welcome back, everybody. Bitcoin is pumping, doing the unthinkable, going against everyone's opinion, just rising to the occasion, just filled the CME gap. This is Crypto Rolly, the crypto watch that never stops. Live technical analysis, price predictions, and trading. Remember, these are my own ideas and opinions on the market, so please do your own research. Trade at your own risk. I am not your financial advisor. Hit that like, comment, subscribe, tick the bell for notifications. Let's roll. All right, looking at the market, Bitcoin up almost 13%. Volume over 2 billion, looking good. You see green all across the market. 8% Cardano, 9% EOS, Litecoin. They're all doing well. Crypto Fear and Greed Index was at a 26 last night. I'm sure we'll move up a little higher. The lesson learned here, guys, is when the crypto fear and greed index is super low and fearful, don't expect a pullback. Usually you don't get pullbacks until you are very greedy up here. So guys, when everyone's afraid that it's going to dump, Bitcoin likes to do the opposite. So we are climbing out of that fearful zone. But we're definitely still in this area where no one believes in Bitcoin. Everyone's been doubting. It's been a very strange month. No one has been excited to be in a long, but I hope you're excited. Now I'll show you some stuff that looks pretty bullish on the weekly, looking like a bull market unless, and we'll look at this too, unless the stock market decides to dump. But currently, stock market putting in new highs as well. Block halving, 12 days away, less than 2 weeks. We're going to have a Bitcoin block halving party on Zoom. Invite your friends. I'm just kidding, but it's definitely exciting to finally see this getting to that date closer and closer. I've been doing this for over 100 days, so I'm just excited to see the date get closer to that zero. All right, so going over here, I wanted to show, Bitcoin price that's longest stretch of positive weekly growth since May 2017. This was before the ultimate 20K rally, and somehow everyone's been bullish. This has just been a crazy month. Altcoins, this is just a warning. Doesn't have to play out this way. We'll look at the dominance chart real quick, but this is saying that altcoins might be destroyed by Bitcoin. Let's see, it says down here, the reasoning behind that is that as Bitcoin is pumping, they're going to be dumping altcoins in demand for Bitcoin. Bitcoin will lead to Bitcoin price climbing and the altcoins slipping. Bitcoin dominance will be reaching all-time high, will further attract new investors entering the space. So it doesn't have to exactly happen, per se this way, but we can see as Bitcoin is blasting off, the dominance is rising, which means Bitcoin is outperforming the altcoins as we speak. Now, if we see this, revert and start coming back down, that will mean the altcoins are outperforming. Now, as far as getting destroyed, I don't know if that's the right word. I just, I think, say the dominance on Bitcoin continues to rise, the altcoins will rise in USD value, but not as much percentage-wise as Bitcoin. And that's exactly what happened back here. In the rally of 2019, Bitcoin just took off, after bottoming end of 2018. That rally to 14K, you saw the dominance just continue to rise. So the altcoins were rising as well, but Bitcoin outperformed them percentage-wise. It was just better off to be in Bitcoin. There's no point in being in the altcoins. Bitcoin was the one to be in. And I guess the argument here is it could potentially be the same scenario, especially with the Bitcoin having hype around it. People will be interested in being in Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts pumping, people will sell their altcoins to be into Bitcoin. And if we are looking for a new global currency, an answer to this economic recession, all that good stuff, and hula or whatever the word is, you're going to see more people be interested in the, the Don, the daddy of them all, Bitcoin. That's the, the brand of this. This is the Nike of, cryptocurrency. People are going to, if they're going to be excited and jump into crypto for the first time, they're going to go into Bitcoin first. So that would be that argument there. All right. So looking at the Bitcoin chart, we finally broke out. We had this horizontal resistance. We've been talking about this for a while. You had support, flipped as resistance. Once you finally broke that resistance, you had your rally there, and we had this little price range. This was the March 12th sell-off, and we were banging up against it and finally broke above it. I talked about in yesterday's video that the more times we attempt to break it, the more likely it will break, and finally we did. If you look at the 4-hour moving averages, you can see that the blue 10 simple held the price the entire way up as support. There was no reason to be too bearish until you actually closed beneath that one and maybe the 4-hour 21 EMA. So it held it up and we kept banging. You can see wicked up to it, kept pushing, putting in higher lows as we came up. So basically an ascending triangle, and we got that breakout. Now we are getting a little bit of a pullback, which is not a total surprise, but we hit that CME target, so that's probably why we're selling off just a bit. If you look at it here, you can see we had this gap here, and I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that that was filled, so we will delete that one. Another gap filled, and we do have the one up here at 11.8K. Would be the next one. Okay, guys, and these are gaps on the daily that can be seen. We do have, a small, tiny 4-hour gap that can only be seen down here from last weekend, actually, and there's one down here. So, people argue that the 4-hour gaps don't really count. It's the daily ones that get filled, and as far as these daily gaps that can be seen, they all have been filled minus 11.8K. So going down to the weekly, let's just do our breakdown as usual. We hit that 9K target basically with 89.70 on Bitstamp. Let's see where BitMEX hit. BitMEX likes to go a little bit higher than the rest. Let's see, on BitMEX 89.78. Okay, fair enough. So anyways, back to the Bitstamp chart, because I like my moving averages, especially on the weekly. This is the purple line. We are so close. Interesting. All right, so moving averages. I've been talking about how getting that close finally above the red 100 EMA was bullish. We attempted several weeks in a row, finally broke above it. Not only did we close above that, we closed above the yellow 21 EMA, also bullish. Now we're above all moving averages on the weekly. Could we get a retest as support? Potentially. Your orange 50 EMA on the weekly 78.62. 8K could be retested as support. Very potential. The weekly Stokes are turned up though, so still looking good. Your RSI looks good. We can go look at the Ichimoku cloud. We did hit that resistance on the Ichimoku cloud weekly right there. You can see came up and tagged that, so maybe find a little bit of resistance there. That's at 88.27. The top of this bearish cloud is actually at 95.78, and then right here, this is the bottom of the cloud, it's 95.78. The top of the cloud is 10,748. So on the weekly, you want to close above this level here at 88.27, break into the cloud, eventually break above it, find support, and this is starting to close up and hopefully turn into a green cloud. That's all in a perfect world, but maybe now that everyone might finally flip bullish, now we get the pullback. Maybe, okay? Because when everyone was super bearish here, we just kept going. So now if everyone on crypto Twitter starts screaming bull market, maybe we get a pullback, okay? But things are looking very good, very good. Look at the Bollinger Bands. This was also important. The middle BB was acting as resistance. We're now above it. If you can close above 78.96, you're closing in the bullish zone on the Bollinger Bands. So you can see back here how it was resistance this whole way through. You finally broke above the middle BB and you rallied hard, came down, tested as support, lost it, dumped hard, retested as resistance, dumped again. This right here was bullish, but then we had this whole pandemic. We've retraced a large portion of the sell-off back into the bullish zone. Looks good to me. On the daily, you are bullish above the upper band there. Ichimoku Cloud, you have launched pretty high. So your support on the Ichimoku daily is much lower here. But interesting would be this cloud closing up and potentially putting in a green Ichimoku cloud. Okay, your moving averages above all moving averages. Your pink 200 simple 79.75. So like I said, if you get a sell off here, look to 8K to be support. And my bias right now is we're in a bull market above 8K. I put out a video last week that said bull market above 8K, and we are here. So bull market above 8K because you are above the middle BB on the weekly. We're above all moving averages on the weekly. We are now above all moving averages on the daily. And we're in an uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. Why should I be bearish? The only thing that people have been bearish is because of the pandemic and the looming threat of a recession if the world continues to crumble. But until that moment, there is no point in shorting. We're in an uptrend, so I will be looking for longs. In a downtrend, I'm looking for shorts. When we were in this downtrend here, I was not looking for longs at all, and I was doing pretty well. So in an uptrend, you shouldn't be looking for shorts, and you will do pretty well. Okay, and also just while it was on my mind, looking at the stock market, putting in new highs. Okay, new highs there. We were talking about down here that we had bounced back above and would attempt at much higher. If you've been following along, we said this could definitely be a target, and we have been moving up. If you take off the moving averages, what do I see? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So until we put in a lower low, no point in calling for the dump of all markets. Okay, we're still trending up. Now, I will say we're at a critical point on the stock market. This was where the sell-off began. We had a dead cat bounce and then dumped even harder. So we are hitting the bottom of where we got that dead cat bounce. Support could flip as resistance. But until we get that lower low, no point in freaking out. Could it happen? It could happen. But otherwise, you are just trying to get ahead of yourselves and call tops, and not a good idea. When you're in a downtrend, you don't want to be calling bottoms, as they call it, knife catching. And when you're in an uptrend, you don't want to be calling the tops. Okay? And you know what? Plenty of people got wrecked all the way up. That's why we pumped so hard, liquidated many shorts, adding fuel to the rocket ship. When you start, this was a cascading waterfall effect of longs being liquidated, and this is shorts being squeezed and adding rocket fuel to the upside. Okay, don't short when Bitcoin is bullish because you're going to get wrecked. Look at all of these green candles. Why would have you shorted? I'm sure people shorted the entire way up. So guys, just when you see a reversal candle, fair enough. But look at these 4-hour candles. People wanted to short this, boom. Wanted to short that, boom. Had you caught the top, nice. But shorts, to me, in an uptrend are meant for scalping, and I would take my profits already, or at least have a trailing stop, okay? That's just my opinion. So on the 4-hour, while we're here, we have our moving averages. We saw that we're well above all of them, but the blue 10 simple held that price. That was perfect. Look at this breakout volume, looking good. Your stochastic on the 4-hour, curling over, but hasn't crossed down yet either. Your RSI is pretty high. Potentially you could come down but maybe maintain, the bullish zone. And as far as the RSI goes, if you look at the daily, I do want to point this out. When you're bullish, the RSI can go way overbought. Okay, so that's not the signal to short in an uptrend. The RSI, look here on this rally, way higher than where we are currently. Once, twice, thrice. Okay, go back to 2017. Look how many times you were into the well overbought territory. Several times there. Okay, yes, you did have some pullbacks along the way. This is true, but my point is, it didn't get rejected right at the overbought territory. You went well above it, well above it. This is up at 84, 86, 91. And where is the price currently on the RSI? Is at a 73. So more room to go if it wanted to go. I think that's it. Wrapping it up. I guess the story here is the CME gap was filled. We did hit that 9K target up there after breaking 8K. 8K would be my support level of interest, and I'm feeling bullish on Bitcoin as long as there's not a major dump in the stock market. And I don't think we'll get that major dump in the stock market unless there's some tragic news, like a second wave, if the states that reopened have to shut back down. Something like that might trigger another sell-off, but otherwise, don't fight the trend. And I believe that is it for me on Bitcoin. And you know what? We're just going to make this a short video, guys. So thanks for tuning in. Hit that like for me one more time, and I will see you next time.